Lecture, Part 1, Arguments Against the Death Penalty. Using your notes to ask questions and make comments. Page 162.
There is probably no issue in criminal justice today more controversial than capital punishment, the death penalty. As you probably know, the United States is the only Western industrialized nation that allows capital punishment. In 1972, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that capital punishment was unconstitutional. But the court reinstated it in 1976. Since then, over 1,000 executions have been carried out. Executions are usually carried out by lethal injection or electrocution. Today, I'd like to talk to you about some of the main arguments against this form of punishment. Of course, the first question most people ask is, does capital punishment deter crime? Well, although there are studies that have linked the increase in executions with a decrease in homicides, a great many social scientists argue that there is no such link. In fact, states with the most executions are also the states with the highest homicide rates. So I do not believe that it is an effective deterrence. The death penalty does not deter murder. My second point is that capital punishment is not used fairly. Nearly all prisoners who are sentenced to death are poor males. And some states, like Louisiana and Mississippi, still use the death penalty, whereas other states, like Iowa, do not. Race is also a factor. Historically, African Americans have been more likely to be executed than whites, both in proportion to the general population and to the prison population. I have another major objection to capital punishment, which is that because we are human, there is always the possibility that we can make mistakes. We always have to question if we have gotten the facts right. According to the Death Penalty Information Center in Washington, at least 138 prisoners were released from death row in 26 states because they were improperly convicted or because evidence of their innocence was discovered after they were sentenced to death. In the state of Illinois, a few years ago, there were 26 people on death row, and 13 of them were released because new evidence proved that they were innocent. These are 13 people who would have been executed by the state. So in other words, we do make mistakes, and we have to allow for the possibility of that error. Once you execute somebody, you've done something that should not be in the domain of the state. It's almost as if you're playing the role of God on life or death issues. I believe that killing someone is a moral decision, and that it is not a decision the state should make.